Powered by Riverside.
Kind of a catchy tune, I gotta say.
I know. Every time.
I get it in my head
I know,
sometimes
me
during the
too.
day. Like if I'm just checking YouTube to see, like, okay, how many views did we have on this show? You know, and then that if I leave it on too long, that theme comes up.
Right.
Like, oh, here we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
I like the new theme rather than the old one we had. So it's
Yeah. The 1,
we
2,
had
3, 4, like every time.
back in the day, and plus gives Riverside a little plug, you know, if anybody out there, you know. Back in the day when we were on the radio, we had the what is it? Hollywood Dead. Is that a group or a song or something? Anyway, I don't know. Something like that.
So.
Anyway,
Yeah.
the group had a song that was titled the same as the group, and it was Hollywood Dead or Dead Hollywood. I don't know what it was. Everybody remembers that theme from the old days in the radio. But unfortunately, with YouTube, unless it slipped through the cracks or we got permission, we couldn't play it.
Right.
So, I used to, when I did podcasts, when I did bracketology podcast, I would play bumper music and never had a problem. But we found out they have a basketball game up in the corner of the podcast studio. Boy, we get shut down. It's good to see. I don't know if I mentioned this, but like Purple Daily has hundreds of thousands of followers and subscribers and everything. They got in YouTube jail here about 2 months ago. They apparently posted something that, you know, they don't ever have live interviews or anything on their show or any recorded stuff. They're really careful about it. But they did something, and it triggered YouTube, and they got put in jail for like a week or a week and a half where they couldn't post on Purple Daily. So luckily for them, they have other channels. They have like Score North channel. So then they just put their shows on there. But they were like, we don't even. I was glad to hear them, a big enterprise like that, go, we have no idea. Like, they don't tell us what we did. And I'm like, thank you. They never, ever told us. We kind of just guessed. Like, they never told us what we did wrong. Like, they need to be a little more transparent. I get that they're monitoring 5 million podcasts a day. So, at any rate, you can tell it's Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. We're just babbling, waiting for the weekend.
Right.
But it is game day tomorrow. And it's all of a sudden, out of the blue, like, it just totally flipped. A huge game. Like, we were all sitting around crying and, you know, feeling sorry for ourselves and just thinking, oh, what a wasted season already, and da-da-da-da-da. And all of a sudden, we got this huge game Saturday. Now, it would have been a little bigger had Marquette won. Maybe not. I don't know. It's still huge. We got to win this game. It's a must win.
Got to protect home court.
Yes, absolutely. Because as we saw, I've been saying it all year. These bottom 9, throw them in a hat, pull them out, and you're going to see. You are going to see more games like the game we had with Xavier.
Oh yeah.
You're going to see more blowouts, where unexpected blowouts, like home teams losing by a ton, just because it's. I think there will be, but hopefully that will not be the case with the Creighton Blue Jays. Thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button. It helps us out a ton. Speaking of subscriptions and views and so forth, I mean, it's just unbelievable as our subscribers have grown. Like now, like we were scrambling to get X amount of views, and now it's just a given we're going to get X amount every day, which is awesome. And a part of that is because of our wonderful sponsors. First of all, RTI Threads. Thanks so much for being a great sponsor to us. We are pairing with them in tons of stuff throughout the season, and we'll continue to do so. Go to rtathreads.com. They've got everything. Last-minute Christmas shopping. You can go there. You better hurry up, though. Get some gear, some Creighton gear. They got tees, hoodies, quarter zips, caps, anything you want. So go to rtathreads.com. Katie and the staff do just a marvelous job. We really appreciate everything they do. And our sponsor on Blue Jay Banner today is Infusion Brewing Company. Go to infusionbrewing.com. Check out all they have to offer. They got their holiday beers. They got the vanilla bean Christmas cookie. They've got the German stout. They got the dill pickle. And like we said yesterday, got a beer we just don't really talk much about, but by God, still very popular and people still pile into Let It Fly and drink it. And that's the Let It Fly lager. And when we were there for the event, they had a great, big, huge pallet of Let It Fly right behind us there. So check it out. That's infusionbrewing.com. And as you know, either game day or the day before the game, we will, I just want to mention one thing too. So next week, we kind of get into holiday mode here. So we'll have a game day preview on Monday and then probably a follow-up on Tuesday, and then we'll be off the rest of that week, Christmas week. And then we'll be back with you on that Monday following New Year's, or following, what do we call that weekend? It's always the weekend in between Christmas and New Year's, but we'll be back that Monday. And then follow through with shows Monday. We have a game Tuesday, right? Yeah, so we'll have a preview on Tuesday. Probably a follow-up New Year's Eve day, and then we'll take the rest of the week off that week too, and then we'll be back at it the following week. So that's kind of going to be our holiday schedule. You can kind of check us out the first couple of days of the week, and then we'll be off. All right, on to the Marquette. I wanted to say Warriors, but they're the Golden Eagles. Right. That sends me back. Are you young enough to remember, or old enough, I should say, to remember? Back when, did you ever see video back when they were when Al McGuire coached them?
No.
So this is cool. So they had the coolest uniforms. So, have you seen Marquette over the last few years? I think Shaka, maybe, I don't know, maybe other coaches had it. Maybe Wojo even brought it back, but I know Shaka's kind of kept the tradition. They had little stripes down the side.
Yeah. Yep.
That's an ode back to the old days. Okay. So when Bo Ellis, he's just a name I remember, was on the team. They won the national title one year, which was, at that time, they were just an independent, so that was pretty, them and DePaul were independents. Notre Dame, they were all independents. So quite the feat to win a national title.
Well, for sure.
But Al McGuire was their coach, and he had a lot of guys from the inner city. Okay. And they had uniform, and the guys like to wear their shirts out. Well, they couldn't wear their shirts out. So they got around the rules saying, well, this is part of our uniform. So they had their top jersey was meant to be worn untucked, and it had trim in the bottom, and it had Marquette written at the bottom. So they got around that. So they were they were the coolest. They were the in thing. They had this color blue with their darker blue with the gold. Awesome looking uniforms. God, they were good looking uniforms. It's just like the Chargers in football in the NFL. They ain't that great. When you flip on a TV and they're on with those blue and gold, that just is so sharp.
Yep.
So Marquette was that way, but yeah. All right, I digress. But we are talking about Marquette.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since the glory days. Probably unbelievably the worst coach ever in basketball. Tom Crean actually got him. I mean, Crean was a hell of a recruiter, so he got Dwayne Wade, and
they got Dwayne Wade. So
that was their last glory day, really. Yeah. They actually have had some good years since. They had, I think, the best teams in the Big East there a couple of years, but they'd get in a tournament, just fall flat, and not only lose, they would get hammered.
Yeah.
They wouldn't get out of the first round. I mean, it was bad. This Marquette team, I would say, if you were watching the two games, I think somebody on our message board over at bluejaybanner.com, you can sign up today, by the way. You can get a whole week's worth, I think, for $1. But somebody over in bluejaybanner.com goes, well, it's easier to see Marquette's is the worst team in the league. I don't know how you could watch those two games and not think Xavier was way worse than Marquette.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, you watch Xavier play, and you're like, wow, that's
Yeah,
that's
they had a horrible night. I get that.
yeah,
And we shot lights out. I get that. But when you see that, you go, okay, that's their floor. And I mean, they kind of quit
yeah, and
early on in the second half. And
yeah,
that's what I'd be concerned about if I was a coach. Like, you can't have your team quit on you. I mean, because
and that's the thing with
their defense
Shaka's
was
team is,
atrocious.
oh,
I
it was
mean,
terrible.
they were just leaving guys wide open. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
wide open.
So anyway,
But I mean, that's the thing with Shaka is, Shaka's teams aren't going to quit, and
right.
so right there is where I would argue about Marquette being the worst team. Is you're going to have to bring it every time you play Marquette, like you were like,
Right.
because they're going to bring it too. Effort goes a long way, and then at some point talent does take over. Effort's just not going to win you basketball games, especially when it comes to Big East, but it's gonna keep you in a lot of games. And I think that's where we've been struggling with the Jays is the constant effort. It's not 2 plays I give the effort and then 2 plays I don't. It's
Right.
4 plays I give nonstop effort. So, and so that's why I would say Marquette is not the worst team in the Big East. So,
Here we are talking about the worst team.
yeah, well, so they've gotten off to a tough start. So just in the Ken Palm ratings, Jays are 49th after their massive jump with their 41-point victory. And then Marquette is 107. And then in the net, the Jays are 79 and Marquette's 173 in the net. So
Marquette's 173 in the net?
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, so they're 5-7 on the year, and they've only beat one team with a winning record, and that's
They've lost
Valpo.
7 now? I
Yeah.
thought they were 5-5. Oh, how quickly that happened. Yeah, who have they beaten?
So the only actually, sorry, I think let me take that. Yeah, they are 5-7. Yep.
Jeez.
Yeah, so they've only beaten one team with a winning record, and that's Valpo, who's 6-5, and they needed overtime to beat Valpo. So, that's where, you're going to see those, the struggling in your rankings is, if your only win is against one team with a winning record, and it's Valpo who's 6-5, then
they're a middling at best Valley team.
Yeah. So, so their wins have come against Albany, Southern, Arkansas, Little Rock,
terrible,
Central Michigan, and then Valpo.
Yeah. Wow.
And then they lost to Indiana, Maryland, Dayton, Oklahoma, Wisconsin, Purdue, and then they lost the other night to Georgetown.
Wow. So that's a pretty tough schedule. I'm surprised their net is that low, because that's a really, really tough schedule. All those teams are really good teams. Teams. Good to really good.
The only issue is like the Indianas and Wisconsin and Purdue, like they blew the doors off of them. So Indiana put up 100 against them. So that's kind of the thing is these better teams that they've played, and obviously Creighton's kind of in the same boat is some of these better teams, they've kind of gotten the doors blown off of them, but yeah, so they're kind of reeling right now. So those are the teams that, in my opinion, are always scary. The team that's reeling, backs against the wall.
Yeah.
A Shaka Smart led team is going to come out. They're going to come out firing, because you don't want to start. There's plenty of time to make up for an 0-2 start, but you don't want to start 0-2 in conference. You're just
and I don't think I don't think we've shown enough product yet that we're not going to just throw up a clunker tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
Like,
Austin Chapman talked about that in the post game podcast. Is his number one thing was, okay, well, let me see it the next game, and then
right.
let me see it the third game, let me see it the fourth game, and things like that. So like, yeah, granted, Jay's Nation is feeling a little bit better, but still, like, it was one game, and it's there's still a lot left to prove if you're Creighton.
I mean, that was like beating DePaul in the old days the other night. You're expected to win that game.
Yeah.
Like, I think these games are, to me, they're each up a little bit of a level. Like, okay, now Marquette's coming in, despite their record, despite that they haven't beaten anybody. If you watched them the other night, they still seem to have some guys that at times Xavier looked to me like they didn't know what the hell they were doing out there.
Yeah, it was really, that was
Marquette
weird.
still has some guys. The guy we're probably most familiar with is Ben Gold, and I was shocked when I looked at his numbers. Am I correct? He's 18 to 61 from three.
Yeah,
Holy crap! He was like a 50% 3-point shooter that one year.
Yeah, he's
or
only
close to it.
22% from 3-point range, averaging 8 points and 7 rebounds a game. So he has been starting the majority of the year, and they actually brought him off the bench against Georgetown for the first time. So didn't really change anything for him. So unfortunately for Marquette fans, but and then their best players is Chase Ross.
No doubt.
6'5"
He's the other
guard,
guy we'd remember from last few years.
averaging 17 points a game, shooting 44%, and only 29% from 3-point range. And then Sean Jones, he's kind of the other guy. The name kind of
he was like a bench piece for him.
Yeah, him. And then the fourth one is Royce Parham.
Parham's good.
Yeah,
I forgot about those guys.
Yeah, 9 points a game and 27%.
He looked good. He actually looked good against Georgetown.
Yeah, he did.
I thought.
And one of the new guy to their roster this year is Nigel James. He's a 6-foot freshman guard, averaging 11 points, 4 assists. But he's also only shooting 23% from 3-point range. I'm not going to say anything because I'm not going to jinx anything. So
they come to CHI and they suddenly just fill it up. I don't get. That's the one thing I don't get.
It's unbelievable.
Like if you go to CHI, you would think that's a bad shooting environment because it's a huge NBA type arena, right?
Yeah.
You walk into Hinkle, you'd think, oh, these guys are going to shoot lights out in here. This is like a high school gym, and nobody shoots well there. I shouldn't say nobody, but teams sometimes struggle there. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Don't get it.
Yeah. It's they're shooting very, very poor right now across the board. So that's kind of where the struggles come from. And we've talked about it with Creighton. Like when you shoot bad, you look bad. And, so I think that's where, if you're casually watching Marquette and you go out there and you see a team that's shooting 25% from 3-point range, you're like, this is a bad team. Well, at some point you would think things would level out, but also, it is 12 games into a season.
Yeah.
So, you just don't know. The only other guy that kind of showed up for the first time on the box score was Demarius Owens. He only played a few minutes in games leading up to Georgetown, and then all of a sudden he plays 27 minutes against Georgetown and leads them in scoring with 15. So, obviously that's somebody Jays will have to scout for Saturday night. He's a 6'7" sophomore, so they do kind of, besides Nigel James, they do have that kind of 6'7", 6'8" across the board. With the 6'9" guys, Ben Gold is 6'11". So, they do have that kind of long length that Shaka's kind of always had.
Yeah. Yeah. They, I just when you watch them and you watch Xavier, you just kind of felt like Marquette had guys that could get it to the rack, which kind of bothers me,
Yeah, for sure.
against us because we had a problem doing that. Um, you know, by the way, I just want to. This is totally driving the bus off the road here, but I just happened to stumble across the Illinois coach's press conference after Nebraska the other day. I was just interested to see what he said about Nebraska. And he goes, "Well, like we're not going to post up Nebraska. They're not going to allow that. Like Edie didn't get any shots against Nebraska. He's like, but he goes, you got to drive it in there and make a move and kick it out, and we didn't do that. He's like, yeah. Anyway, yeah, when this kind of what this scares me about this is this a team that kind of like we were early on where we couldn't make shots, then suddenly
Right.
we have a game where we make a bunch. Is this the same thing with Marquette? Suddenly, like all of a sudden things click and they start making shots.
Yeah, that's that's a it's a good question. So I wasn't going to bring anything up, but I did see something very very interesting on Twitter. So I don't know if you followed the it's Paint Touches. I think it's a Marquette Twitter handle. They're shooting 17% in contested 3-point shots this year, which is worse than all of Division One.
Wow.
Yeah, and so again, I didn't want to bring this up, but it was very interesting. And the only reason I bring this up is because the guy accidentally took off the D1 filter, so he got like 1,400 teams all of a sudden because he got Division One, Division Two, Division Three, NIA, like all these different schools, and out of 1,465 teams, they rank 1,443. Like,
It's almost
so,
impossible.
right? And so, I will say that, the Jays have done a good job of defending the 3-point line. So, defensively, Mac is obviously going to be like, get hands out on these guys and force them into contested threes because they just haven't made them this year.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I talked about, if this is game 5 of the year, you kind of throw those numbers out the door, but it is game 12, and they're playing, like we talked about with their schedule, they are playing good teams. So these good teams are,
right.
forcing them into doing things, and they're not getting it done. So the Jays need to be locked in like they were on Wednesday night on the defensive end and communicate like they did. And Mitch talked about that. By far, the best defensive communication that they've had. They had a few breakdowns. No defense is going to be perfect. You're going to have a few breakdowns, but you limit those, and do this again at home. And I think the Jays will be successful if they do that. If they don't, it's one of those things. Get out and jump out on Marquette early in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think about Wisconsin, typically a good defensive team, but then Nebraska threw up 90 on them.
Right.
I mean, so
And Greg Gard
there's
said
that.
they're not.
And
He
I
said
would
they're
say
not good defensively. So
the other team that stuck out to me is Indiana. Indiana's not very good defensively. They're undersized. So
right.
the fact that they couldn't hit a lot of threes against them, you start to think about it. Dayton, I think, is pretty athletic, so they're, but that to me that would be like an even matchup in my mind, Dayton and Marquette. But yeah.
One thing that did, looking through Marquette's team stats, one thing that did stick out to me is they're only forcing 6 turnovers a game, which for Marquette is very low.
That's shocking. There's your problem. There's the problem. You can talk all you want about shooting, but there's the problem.
Exactly. So that's kind of the number one thing is, so they're not getting up and defending like they have in the past. And that's obviously got to be driving Shaka just up a wall. knowing him, because they have the deflection counter and all that stuff that they have during timeouts and things like that. So only
Yeah.
forcing 6 turnovers a game is yeah. Actually, so it was like 6.4, and Creighton's averaging 6.8. So like if Creighton's ahead of you, like
Yeah. The only thing was Xavier was forcing tons of turnovers and wasn't turning the ball over, and then it was just the opposite the other night.
yeah,
So yeah. I don't know. I mean, look, they lost some dogs over the last few years.
they have. They really have.
I mean,
They've
they had
lost
some
a
real
lot of
dogs
good
that play
players,
defense.
and
And then, Isidaro inside, you had a big guy inside, kind of similar to Creighton. You had that guy inside where you didn't have to worry about guys getting into the paint. Um, you know, gosh, I can't remember every game because I can't remember what I did yesterday, but it seemed to me that Kalk probably that was one team he struggled against was Marquette because of Isidaro. I mean, he could he could he was right there as long as Kalk was,
oh yeah,
So when you lose that, like we're showing, and that's probably why Gold's just, Gold is always like, Gold's probably one of these guys. I didn't know it till this year, obviously, but he's probably one of these guys that when you've got Cam Jones and people like that around you, hey, you gotta let somebody,
yeah,
you gotta let somebody try and beat you. And he was that guy. So he was getting wide open looks. Now people are like, hey, Gold can shoot it. So now they don't have that interior presence,
exactly.
So
And they
it'll
don't,
be interesting to see what their scout is and so forth.
and
How
obviously,
they
yeah, Chase Ross is good, but he's not of a Cam Jones good,
No.
that
Cam Jones was
scares you.
Marcus Foster. That's who
Yeah,
he reminded me of.
these guys blowing guys by off the dribble, and that's how Ben Gold was, getting his open shots. Is Cam Jones ball faking 3 points, blowing by, kicking out to the corner, and he's knocking down wide open corner shots. Like that's not Marquette this year. It's just not the way that they're currently playing. I don't know if things change, but I
That is
it's
so
just
weird when you start thinking about their shooting. I mean, they had Rousey and Howard that one year.
right.
Just those guys were lights out.
Yeah,
Yeah. So anyway, well, do you have Marquette's schedule in front of you?
I do. Yes.
Do they have another game next week?
So they play on the 30th.
So they don't play another game.
Right.
Okay. That's something I look at simply because these are 18, 21-year-old kids. And so they're playing on a Saturday night, and they're probably like, well, tomorrow I get to go home. They're probably going to take break. Okay. So that's why Mac always likes to schedule that bye game
Yeah.
before he lets everybody go home because those guys are looking ahead.
It's a
And
long,
especially,
long break.
so I think it's really super important that we get out to a start like we did the other night, because once we do
Exactly.
that, they may start looking ahead and going, what time's my flight tomorrow?
Right.
Um, and hopefully they're all Packer fans and they're all worried about the Packer Bears game going on.
Yeah.
I don't think they are, but
They're
just saying.
still bummed about Micah
Yeah, well, there you
Parsons.
go.
So,
That would be the dilemma, right, with Marquette fans. Are they going to turn into the Packers Bear game? I mean, if it's anything like last night's game, which was one of the classic NFL games of all time,
yeah.
seriously. Two teams that battling, and you're going to see that tomorrow. Two teams battling for a playoff spot. So, well, not playoff spot, but battling for the best record in the league, really.
Yeah.
Crazy to think they said last night that they could all end up 13-4, and like one of the teams will be the third best, will be third in the division.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. The NFC West is crazy.
It's crazy. And then the NFC Central has got three strong teams too. So it's not like, yeah. Then you got the Panthers and Bucks 500 battling it out.
Right.
All right. All right. Well, that's an excellent preview, Michael.
Remember, stripe out tomorrow.
Oh yeah. So you got to look and see what you got to wear.
So
I
I
love
mean,
it when they tell us what we have to wear.
right. So
I think my section's white.
I've been the same color every single time they've done a stripe out. So I don't think they ever change it. So
I know.
just
I think
if
so too.
if you're a season ticket holder and you've been a season ticket holder since they've started the stripe outs, odds are you're the exact same color that you've been
The most
every
stupid
game. So
thing of all time. Unless you hand out T-shirts, don't do shit like this.
yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's just
the towels don't do anything. I don't understand
I
the handout of
understand
the
like
towels.
football stadiums, if they hand out T-shirts to everybody, but then it's 35 degrees. Who's going to put a T-shirt on over the parka? I mean, but so there's that. But yeah, and that's the other thing to stripe out. Like a lot of people don't have something white they would wear to a Creighton game at this time of year.
Right.
They might have a white T-shirt, but they wouldn't,
Yeah.
So, I do. I got tons of crap, but
Hey,
not everybody.
RTI threads.
Yeah, well, yeah, they
There
got
we
tons
go.
of
Right.
I've got the same. I have the same white quarter zip. I believe was it Mitch had it on maybe, or did Mac? No, Mac had on his light blue one. So I think it was Mitch had on the white one. So I got the same one. So yeah, that's good. But then we Austin and AJ and I decided that tomorrow night we're all going to wear our new RTI threads quarter zips. So Austin was excited that I actually said his was hung up, not wadded up in the back seat of my car. So, because he hasn't received his yet. So, anyway. Yeah, so it's 7:30. It's on Peacock. We got Fanta, and who's is Baugh doing the game with him?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I know Fanta's doing it. He told me about 2 weeks ago when he's here. He goes, I'm coming back from Marquette.
I didn't know that.
Here we go. It is. Why is it not on here? I think it's a Saturday, so I would thinking, yeah, see, I don't know how I'd like to ask Nick how like their contracts go,
Right.
I don't see a preview on here, which is unusual. I know Rob sends them out, so I know I have it. I just need to find it. Take me 2 seconds to Google him. There he is, Rob Anderson. No, what the heck? I don't see a Marquette preview.
Don't see one either.
Are you okay, Rob?
Right.
I really like, I wish they would kind of do it like, you know what? I bet you AI is so good, they'll have it. I saw the other day, like, I think John Bishop tweeted out something at Kugler, like his NFL schedule. And then he tweeted out the whole thing, which I loved. They had all the announcers and they had a map like where all the games are.
Nick Baugh, yep.
It is Nick. Okay.
And Jordan Cornette. He might be the maybe he'll be
sideline.
Yeah. Or maybe Nick will be on
usually
the sideline.
No, Nick would not be sideline. Yeah, no. Jordan Cornette usually is the guy in the studio.
Right.
So Maybe, God, they're bringing a sideline guy? Oh, I guess. It's kind of a primetime game for Peacock, so, we haven't had usually we have people complain or talk about TV. We'll take 2 minutes to do that, then we'll wrap it up, but, I haven't heard anybody complain or say anything about the product. It seems to me, just watching FS1 the other night, it seems to me that they got diluted by this whole thing. Like, it seems like we had more top flight guys on FS1. Now they've all fanned out. Like, I don't even know, is Ball gonna do FS1 games? Like, he's been on Peacock a lot.
Right.
I'm gonna text Nick today and find out. I'm gonna see
There you go.
if he's always usually very busy and it's hard to get back to me, but I just want I'm very curious, like, how these guys are like Steve Smith was on the other night, like I said, was doing the Marquette game.
Yeah.
Like, he used to be like a TNT guy, and then TNT got does Ball have any TNT games? You know? 'Cause I think Fanta has said I like Fanta I know is not associated with the Big East anymore. Like, he used to, like, work for the Big East. Now
Oh.
he's signed up with, like, I think he's did football, I think he's NBC totally.
Yeah, that
I don't
awesome
think he's
sports jacket with all the Big East logos on it.
I don't think he's gonna do any, FS1 stuff because I still think Raftery was on, though, somewhere the other night. Was that last night? I saw him somewhere. By the way, real quickly, shout out to Murray State. Won their Valley opener last night at home against Drake, one of the, 2 or 3 or 4 favorites in the league this year. Fred, monster game. I think he was 14 and 11.
Let's go, Fred.
He's still hampered by that knee. He's not 100% yet, but man, he looks good. Looks good. I really love that Murray State team. I'm telling you, if you haven't watched them, get on ESPN Plus, watch them. They are fun to watch. Ryan's really put together a fantastic roster. They've got just a total mix of guys. Their 2 foreign players are really good.
Yeah.
That little guard Taylor, you see him going, okay, what are you doing, Ryan? That dude's good, man.
Yeah.
That dude's good. Like, they had another point guard, and I think that Taylor's better than him. And the Jacksons, their stud guard who can get it to the hole, and they've got a really good team. I'd be surprised if they don't win the Valley.
Oh yeah.
All right. Thank you, Michael. 7:30 tip, and then obviously we will be live from the Live Life Sports Bar tomorrow night. God willing, unless the College Sports Commission shuts us down. Inside joke there. We'll be live at the Let's Fly Sports Bar for the postgame show afterwards. Myself, AJ Andreessen, and Austin Chapman, the point guard, will be with us. I believe Josh Dix is our guest.
Nice.
So I don't know who the coach is, but Josh, I think we haven't had Josh on hardly at all yet this year, so it'll be great.
It's awesome
to have him on, find out what's going on with him, and hopefully every time lately the guy we've had on has had a big game. So there we go. All right. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe and like button. It helps us out so much. And by the way, so we're still doing the retweet. So if you retweet our post game from the other night, and you're a subscriber, you have a chance to win 2 tickets to the Utah Tech game, including a parking pass, lower bowl tickets. So retweet us. Go on Twitter, follow us, retweet that, and then your name's in the hat. We got a bunch of people in the hat, name in the hat already. So we'll probably do that drawing later today. So make sure you get your name in there, and we will announce the winner on Twitter. So thanks so much. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Go Jays.
Go Jays.